The Fusion machine. Now this, the definition of these chambers is this is our entry into our system, our first load lock chamber. Now this one we can also perform all sorts of different functions that pertain to the preparation of the surface, where we're going to etch the surface prior to coating to promote adhesion. That's typically what's going to happen in this chamber, and that would be our glow chamber if we chose to use it. In this particular setup right now, we're not using it, so it's not in it. We're just using it as just an entry load lock. So this one is going to go in and out of atmosphere. So we're going to vent out to atmosphere, we're going to take a part in, and then it goes into this chamber. Now we're going to pull this chamber down. We're going to remove all the molecules out of there. If you remember the last training I did about why in a vacuum, we're going to pull all those molecules out. We're going to get it to a pressure that is similar to the pressure that's in the deposition chamber. This chamber is always under vacuum. So this is at our operating range already. This is where the speed comes from. Now when we get to that pressure, we're going to open this valve. These two chambers normalize on pressure, so there'll be an equalization of pressure. Then we roll the part in, and of course all these things are done on a wheel, which is where we can move these parts easily from chamber to chamber. And of course, you know, it's always popular when I talk about this out in the industry that, you know, the greatest thing we did was patent gravity, because this is moved by gravity. So all these chambers, as you can see, are at an angle. So what that does is, as soon as we put a stop on this wheel, when we want it to move, all we have to do is remove the stop. Gravity makes it move from place to place. So all those chambers being at an angle, and a very specific angle, is the important part of this device to allow us to move the lenses from chamber to chamber. Now when we want to move that part, now the valve's open, the pressure's the same. Now we remove the wheel stop and the wheel rolls into the next chamber. Now we close that valve. Now this chamber is isolated because it's closed in by the valves. We shut the door, nothing else can get in. Now we can begin our deposition function on this. So in the deposition chamber, we actually have 3 separate magnetrons here, and we're depositing whatever material we want in whatever order that equals the process that we want. That's all defined. You may call it a recipe. So the recipe that it takes to make the coating that we want, that's what we're going to do in whatever order or fashion that we want. Now, like I said, everything that you see here on the front is also duplicated on the back. So we can do both of these at the same time. So we're depositing simultaneously. Now while that's taking place, this is going to vent. So we're going to let air back into the chamber. Then the door on the valve on the outside of the chamber here will open, and a new part can roll in. Then this will actually start pulling down back to pressure while this is depositing. Because we have that valve in the middle, it's isolated. So we can do that. So now this chamber is going to pull back down to vacuum. So as soon as this is done depositing, this valve will open. The pressure will normalize between the two chambers. The wheel stop is removed. The wheel rolls out to this chamber. That valve is closed. This will begin its function. This thing says, give me a wheel. This one says, I'm at pressure. The valve opens. Remove the wheel stop. It rolls into here. This one, remember, is already working. So it's going. This one gets the wheel, says, oh, I got a wheel. Perform whatever it is you told me to do. So now it starts depositing. Now this one over here closes the valve and says, hey, I'm ready, give me another wheel. Vent the chamber, let another wheel in. So all these things are happening at the same time. So we get a maximization of our speed and our throughput by doing all these things at the same time.